Hey, this is Marcus or Squeeze or whatever the fuck. I'm just doing, this is the first video in a series of videos where I'm going to go over past projects, review the mix, review the arrangement, say what I like, what I don't like, what I do differently in the future, because this and a lot of other songs that are on the album were made quite a long time ago, and I've learned some stuff since then, so I figured it'd just be fun to go through stuff and I'd have videos that were more than just the music, so do instructional stuff, I guess. Anyway, I want to structure this in the following way, where first I'm going to go through the mix in an order of bass, then drums, then synth, then vocals, and then everything else, basically. And from there, I'll talk about things that I did well and things that I did not do well. And in this, there's a lot of things that I did not do well, because this is one of the earlier songs that I made that was just kind of sitting around as an intro. And then we'll just go from there. First thing is first, let's just hear the song. This is my intro in the album. It's a bit loud, let's just turn it down. That's better, I'll get in the middle. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to play for now. I just added something as well. This is probably going to stay as well. The intent of the track in terms of both the concept of the album and what I was trying to do with the sonics of the song rather. So first off, the bass. Actually, no, first off, the intent of the track. This is an intro to Los Caidos, my album. And what I wanted it to do was basically go through and kind of demo, in a way, all of the different moods, vibes, sounds that would be present in the album, or at least as many as possible at the time. This is about a 2-year-old demo now, or at least it was a 2-year-old song. I've had it sitting around for like 2 years, and yeah, did it accomplish that? I think it did okay. I've got the guitar rock stuff here, got kind of like a electronic things going on. I've got this piano thing. Some of the cuts on the album were meant to have more piano in them, and there's a couple songs that got cut that didn't just quite make the album, that were more along this vibe. But this is actually where I will go into the mix. So we'll start with the bass. Simple, just played. We have a very slight sidechain compression going on, some pretty basic EQ just to bring out the high end of the bass and the thuddiness of it. Probably would have done a different curve if I'm honest, something more like this. But I've got Parallax and Dark Glass Ultra. This is really just me using presets, honestly. I don't think I was doing, anything special with these. Just using Alex Webster's preset on Dark Glass Ultra and the Fat Clean preset just to give it some body. And I thought it sounded pretty good, so I kept it. I'd probably make a new chain for this, something a little more or a little less noisy. But I think it filled its purpose pretty well. The drums, I have a lot of drums in this track. It's the biggest group by far. And we can kind of break them down into 3 categories. We have the drum kit, which was the Contact Periphery 4 kit. I love that shit. It's on every time I can use it on the album, it's there. Yeah, it sounds pretty good. I probably would have done a slightly different mix because this is pretty basic. Not much character going on. But for the purposes of the time that I made the song and where it ended up, I think it served just well enough. We go to these kicks here. Is the electronic kicks, the big. What this basically is a lot of me going through my library of sounds that I've collected over the time I've been here and kind of just seeing how many of them I could use and make fit in a mix. Kind of a personal challenge. You'll find a lot of those in around this album. And yeah, I think this went pretty well, honestly. I like the way that these kind of mold together. There's also this thing, which is pretty simple. They all kind of come together. Just very nice kick snare kind of thing, but with a lot of kicks and one snare. And the snare's always led into. I like the sound of this. I don't think I would have done it much differently in terms of the electronic kicks and this tube hit thing. There's also a clock. Just a sample of a clock. Nothing special about that. It was not quite on the tempo that I found, and I just couldn't be fucked, so I just snipped it when I felt like it was getting off, and probably would have not been so lazy about that, to be honest, but whatever. Let's go on to the synths. I think drums did a pretty good job. Synths here. We have some ambient synths, arpeggios, things like that. Right, this is a Diva preset. As I had gotten Diva, was playing around with some of the presets. I really liked Planet Uranus. And all the stuff. Has a cool little scope there. But the main arpeggio synth is this preset. I have another Diva thing here, which is also preset with some EQs going on. Honestly, I probably would have done these differently. These EQ curves are fucking ridiculous. They don't need to be like this at all. I would have done those completely differently in terms of mixing. This is here, even though I didn't use it. Let's get rid of it. I have some serum wubbing going around. I think this is a custom thing. It is. Let's just solo it. Yeah, we've got basically I think I did a saw wave with a bunch of stuff, like, and then I resampled it and did it again and again. This is what I came up with. I didn't want to go too far because I wanted to keep the kind of character of the saw. And it made a cool little growl thing with these LFOs. And then I took that and sort of froze it into an audio thing here. So I could chop it up. Very simple, straightforward stuff. And then there's this in the Rocky section, which I believe is, yeah, it's just a Massive X preset. A lot of presets going on here, so I didn't really know much about building patches at this time. What I did know was how to click in notes, and with not a lot of variation in velocity, or modulation for that matter, but a lot of glitching coming on from the transition to the outro, but we can get to that in a moment. For now, let's check out the guitars. I think the synths, honestly, pretty basic. I could have gotten more creative with it if I had done it today, but for the purposes of the time and where it is at, I think I did a fairly decent job keeping things balanced. We have 3 guitars, left, right, center. Very simple. Okay, so this thing here, this little section, this is a motif that recurs throughout almost every song on the album. I don't know what I'd call it, maybe cyborg motif or something. Los Caidos is a concept album that takes place in a fictional dystopian future, which has many parallels to our current dystopian future that we're living in right now. And in a not so subtle way, I wanted to point to this motif as being a specific character's theme, as you would call it. So whenever she pops up, you hear that. In terms of the mix, these EQ curves are fairly reasonable. I don't know if these compressors are doing anything. Oh, they're okay. Are these presets? Yeah, one is a preset. This is a preset. Yep, they're all the same preset for Archetype Plenty. Do some Faturator on it to give it that edge. And I don't know, it's all right. I have better guitar mixes, even in the same album, to be fair. This is pretty much one of the first guitar mixes that I really did, and it was okay. I don't even have a full mix that it's going to in the group. Yeah. Overall, I'd give this section of the track a C. It's okay. Could be better. Could have been worse. If it was worse, I probably wouldn't have put it out, to be honest. This thing is another thing where you hear that motif, the right? You hear that around this area. Yeah, right there. And this was basically another project that I was working on, and I just had bounced, and I thought, you know what? It would sound kind of cool to kind of glitch into it. So I did. I glitched into it and let it play out, faded out into a little clip from Orson Welles. I think that this while it's a simple little, I mean, it's strings piano, right? You can't get much simpler than that, to be honest. And a little electronic drum thing that with the panning hats. But I did some very, very basic sound design. I was just kind of dipping my toes into sound design for visual media at the time, and I had some samples from doing that. And I thought, you know what? I might as well incorporate something that kind of sounds like a skit, but isn't as annoying and prevalent as skits. So I have this Orson Welles clip from his creative process thing with Nikola Tesla. And yeah, that is this mix. I would give it about a C. I think I definitely have better mixes on the album. But for the purposes of an intro, kind of introducing the sounds of the album, the intent of the album and its themes, I think it did a fairly okay job. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Actually I should talk about, I use one verb for, I think, guitars. And guitars are sent to B, and that goes to a guitar verb, yeah. I have a drum verb and a vocal verb. Well, no vocal verb here, but a synth verb. And then I have the mastering chain, which just has some Gullfoss, fresh air, and some very, I don't know, okay. I probably wouldn't use this anymore. I would go here. But ozone maximizer. Not really too familiar with ozone at the time. I just decided, you know what, I need a limiter. I have ozone, I might as well use it. Although it's ozone 9, because that's what was out at the time. Anyway, I have some automated LFO stuff on the glitching and the auto filter sweeping up to go into the outro section. Yeah, that's it.